So I guess before I start, is it Belakor? How am I pronouncing it?
You've got it. Belakor it is. Yep.
Beautiful, man. Good. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start at the beginning. How did you guys first get together?
Well, it's quite a while back now. It's 15, 16 years ago. We knew each other in high school, several of us, and we actually started out playing punk rock back when that was cool. And it pretty quickly, I think by the time we were sort of 20, we were looking more into metal, and George was always big. When we met George, he was already a huge metalhead. So he sort of was showing us albums every couple of days just to get us listening, and eventually we transitioned to being a metal band. But it's been a long journey, and we've stuck together essentially with the same lineup for that time. So it's been really good.
Yeah, that's cool. What kind of punk were you playing? Are you talking like Blink or like kind of old school punk? What were you into when you were a teenager?
I think we were probably like influenced by Pennywise and NoFX and that sort of stuff at the time, which was really big back then. This is sort of back to 2001, circa that sort of period. But yeah, it was good. It was obviously still very melodic, and in some ways that's part of what we do now. I think it's the melody and focus is still there in our music now.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So what got you guys into melodic death metal? Like, what were the first sort of bands or albums that really got you into it?
Look. How much do you know about melodic death? Is it a genre you like, or is it?
Yeah. It's not my favourite, but a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, probably the ones everyone knows of back again from that earlier sort of 2000s era where it was about Opeth for us. A lot of Opeth.
Nice. Yeah.
Early In Flames, probably their first 5 albums. Dark Tranquillity, and of course since then it's developed into other metal bands as well, in other like black metal and bit of groove and tech death and things that kind of influence atmospheric stuff, but it's still melodic death metal at its heart.
Yeah, nice. That's cool. I got to ask, Belakor, it's the name of a demon prince in Warhammer. Like when you look up your name, it's like you guys and the Warhammer thing. Is that where the name originated, or does it come from somewhere else?
Look, it is where it came from, and it's a funny one because these days we get asked about it and we sort of go, oh yeah, look, it was part of our... I think 2 or 3 of the guys played it again back earlier in those days, but probably been 10 plus years since we've played it. But it was a word we thought sounded good, looked good, was a nice, unique looking word, and we went with it. And so these days, that's our name. And I think people sometimes assume we write about Warhammer, but we don't. But yeah, it's a cool name. I think it's certainly a name that is a little bit different.
So 2007, The Frail Tide, your debut independent release, comes out. What do you remember about writing and recording that first big release?
Yeah, look, at the time it was nothing. It wasn't a big release in many ways at all for us. It was like, let's try and make some songs, and we had never recorded an album or an EP. It was in our minds. It was an EP when we started making it, and we did it at a friend's house, apart from the drums. And it took a little while. It was good fun to make, and then when it was finished, we sort of went and got it mixed by someone who could help us get it to a standard that we thought was reasonable. And in those days, it was all about MySpace. So, we put it up on MySpace and were surprised to see that there were some people who liked it. It was spreading a little bit, like there was some kind of interest in it. And we sent it out for some reviews, and it got some good reviews. So it was probably an important kind of beginning for us that helped us see, well, we can make music that people like, which was a good start. So we went from there.
Yeah, nice. 2009, Stone's Reach, released through Colony Records in Europe, like Prime Cuts over here, Sawyer's Music in Russia. How'd you get together with all those, international distributors? That's pretty great.
Yeah, it was cool, and I think it was pretty much through MySpace. I think my memory is that we, it's sort of opportunities came about through that to us, and we took them up essentially. And again, it was probably only after Stone's Reach had been out for about a year that we really started to spread and become a little bit more known as a band, and got the chance to go to Europe after that. So like when we first released Stone's Reach, we still were a very, very small band, obviously, probably known mostly to people in Melbourne, I think, at the time. But it was really cool with Stone's Reach to get a bit of that sort of stuff happening. It was great.
Cool. Yeah, I was going to ask about the European festival tours, sort of like 2015, around there. You must have some pretty good memories from back then, yeah?
Oh, fantastic memories. That's a shame we haven't been able to do it more often. We've done 3 European tours, but they've been really short, 2-week tours, and it's been 5 or 6 years since we've done it. So we really are keen to go back, and the pandemic will slow us down a little bit, but hopefully not for forever. And with Coherence, we're trying to make sure we do some nice big tours when time allows us to do it, and go to America for the first time and that sort of stuff.
Oh, nice. That's cool. So back when you could do it, how were international audiences? Were they pretty receptive to what you were doing?
Yeah, it was awesome because I think Australian metal crowds, especially for what the sort of music we play, they tend to be, they'll sit back with a beer and they'll listen and they'll kind of be pretty serious about it. And that's all we knew. So when you go to Germany and they're kind of animated and really into it and kind of very over the top in the way they listen to music, it was great to see that. And it helped us to kind of get more into it as well. So I think European audiences are a lot of fun to play for.
Well, yeah, cool. Well, yeah, hopefully, you'll get to America and see what they're all about as well. That's cool.
Well, that will be interesting. It will be interesting. And hopefully I'm sure there'll be huge differences across America too, in terms of such a big country with such diversity that there's probably subcategories of what American fans are going to be like, depending on where you go.
Yeah, sure. So 2016, you guys get the Best Heavy Metal Album Award from the Age and the Music Victoria Awards. That's pretty great. Did you get a lot more sort of listeners and stuff off the back of that? Getting a bit more, known, I guess, in different circles?
It's hard to know. It's honestly hard to know. It was a nice recognition. It was felt good to be, given that award. I don't know how much it did for us in terms of growing a fan base, but it certainly was a nice thing to have. And we got a little sort of trophy thing, which was cool. And then we can all fight over who gets to keep it in our house. So that's a bit of fun as well.
Yeah, nice. Cool. So if we fast forward to this year, October 29, Coherence is coming out. Your 5th album. How was it writing and recording during lockdowns? Looking at the timing of it, there must have been some sort of crossover there, right?
Definitely. I would say we were lucky that we had written the music by the start of the pandemic. And we'd had some time to rehearse the songs, but we went into the studio in March last year. So it was pretty much right when the pandemic started. We got the drums tracked, and then lockdown hit, and we basically spent a lot of 2020 just going to record when we were allowed to, with big chunks in between where we just had to wait. So it slowed it down, I would say, by at least 6 months. We were looking at releasing the album, I think early 2021 rather than October. But nothing we could really do about it but just wait and do our best and try to use the time. I think we used the time at home to take longer than we maybe could have on the lyrics and really think about how we did that, because lyrics often come a bit later for us in the process. So maybe there was some upside as well.
Cool. What sort of lyrical themes are you touching on in this one?
Pretty consistent for us. Nature's a big thing. We write stories that are set in, natural places, and we talk a lot about, weather and mountains and rivers and nature and so on. But this album sort of explores a few different stories that people are experiencing in one location around a big mountain, and they're sort of interwoven stories that connect a little bit at the end of the album. So it was a different approach that we enjoyed. It gave us some flexibility to move the songs around. It wasn't like a linear story, but there were connections between the stories that made it a lot of fun to write.
Oh, cool. Nice. How do you think your sound has changed since The Frail Tide? You've been around for a while now. How do you think that, putting them next to each other, what are the major differences,
Well, yeah, when I go back and listen to The Frail Tide, I think it's still a pretty cool set of songs, but there's probably a bit more, I don't want to say cheesy, but there are some parts that feel a bit cheesy now. It's a very melodic, twin guitar, riff-driven album, which was what we wanted to do at the time. And that's still true now, but we've sort of toned it down just enough to be what we think is hopefully tasteful. And then there's a little bit more progressive elements in our newer music, a little bit more atmospheric or black metal in a subtle way, hopefully. So I think it's more just a maturing, over time and exploring some different things that we really wouldn't have thought of doing on that first album. but hopefully we haven't changed so much that people will feel that we're a different band, or that they like that album but really dislike the other one. We would like to keep it somewhat consistent as well.
Yeah, cool. So have pandemic and all the rest of it, have you been able to book shows coming up for the new album?
Yeah, look, we're working with Destroy All Lines, with Bailey at Destroy All Lines, to set up our Aussie tour, and that will be next year now. It was going to be this year, but we just wanted to be careful to not book something that has to be cancelled at great cost to us and our fans, and just that would be a major pain. So we're looking at sort of middle of next year is likely, and I think in January we'll probably start selling tickets to that and announce that. And then I think when we can, probably 2022 is US tour. Sorry, 2023 or late 2022 is US tour, and then European tour. But yeah, really, really keen to play some shows after quite a while.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Have you been able to jam or anything? Like, have you guys been able to rehearse amongst all this?
No, we haven't played as a band together since, I would say, January of 2020. So it's, and we've actually only seen each other in the same room, a few times in the past year and a half. We catch up a lot on video calls. We've caught up one-on-one a few, here and there a little bit when we can, but it'll be great to actually be back into our band room and actually play the songs again soon, hopefully.
Yeah, of course, man. Cool. And I guess, but before hitting the stage, are there any more like videos planned, or other promotional things for the album?
Yeah, we've got a third video coming up, which will be released in about a week, sort of to coincide with the release of the album, roughly, like a give or take a day. And we are looking to try to do a few more as well. Like we've released the 2 already for Coherence, and the third one soon. And then we'll see what we can do. Maybe some other creative ideas for another video or 2 as well would be really awesome. But we love to do that, because being a band who doesn't play live as much, the video format, especially if it's like telling the story of the song, is a pretty kind of important medium for us to get it out there.
Yeah, nice. That's cool. Awesome. All right, well, look, Steve, thanks heaps for your time. Best of luck. Everyone go check out the album. It's killer. What a fed. Definitely, keen to hear the rest, man. Thanks a lot, eh? Cheers.
Yeah, we appreciate your support. Thanks, man.
Cool. Have a good one.
Cheers, Ben.